Hi, my name is Steve. Oh god, this is trash. That's a little better. Today I'm gonna take a drink of water because I just ate a Twinkie. I just knocked that over. I'm gonna take a drink of water. And I just ate a Twinkie, so my spit would be really thick if I didn't. I'm gonna be reviewing "Smells Like Children" by Marilyn Manson. Also, I have this light on, which is probably making the lighting even worse than it already is for me having a light directly above me. I just want to say that I'm not the biggest Marilyn Manson fan in the world, and you'll probably be able to deduce that. But I'll get more into it in a minute. After, of course, I throw in a rub, which is really dry for some reason. Just throw in a small pinch. Because, well, I just did, that's why. Smells Like Children, released in 1995. So that's, what, like 20-something years ago? Let's see, my mom would have been 15. She's 39 now. So 39 minus 15 is 24? Yeah, 24 years ago. And don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure it was released sometime in October, so we're actually probably nearing the 24th anniversary. Which is interesting, because even though, like, I don't think of it as that old of an album. Like, when I think of Smells Like Children, I don't think, oh, that album's 24 years old, or EP, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't think, oh yeah, that's 24 years old. It just doesn't really come to mind. Okay, another really quick thing. I generally try to keep the swearing to an absolute minimum on my channel. Sometimes it doesn't go too well, but I try to. This one, it's not really gonna work, because, like, half these songs have swear words in the title. Let's see, 15 tracks. There's also a 16th one, but like a bonus, but I don't even care at this point. Number 1, Hands of Small Children. 2, Diary of the Dope Fiend. 2, Shitty Chicken Gangbang. 4, Kitty Grinder. 5, Sympathy for the Parents. This is not 5, this is 6. 7, even. 6, Sweet Dreams. 7, Everlasting Cocksucker. 8, Fuck Frankie. 9, I'll Put a Spell on You. 10, May cause discoloration of the urine or feces. Boy, do I have stuff to say about that one. 11, Scabs, Guns, and Peanut Butter. 12, Dance of the Dope Hats. 13, White Trash. 14, Dancing with the One-Legged. 15, Rock and Roll Nigger. The fact that I just said that one probably would offend people if people actually watch my videos. I don't even know how to approach reviewing this, because it's just so there. Like, I'm just gonna say this right now, like, a lot of these songs I just don't have anything to say about, because they just exist. You know, I don't really have a negative opinion of them or a positive opinion of them. I mean, the more I listen to them, I would probably have more of a negative opinion, because a lot of them are just boring as hell. Hands of Small Children, just an intro track. Like, there's nothing to say there. Second track on the EP, album, again, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm just going to say album. Is Diary of a Dope Fiend. I love this song, actually. There's just something about it that, like, gets me moving. It's like, yeah, I like this song. I really like Diary of a Dope Fiend. It's always been one of my favorite Marilyn Manson songs. So, obviously, it's going to be my favorite off this album. Again, like, I could go through the list and say something about each song, but I really don't have anything to say for a lot of these songs. Sweet Dreams is... this video is probably going to be shorter than a lot of my other ones. Watch this be, like, 2 hours long. I'm going to try to not do that. Sweet Dreams. I do have something to say about this. I'm a fan of cover songs. I really like cover songs. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of someone taking a song and kind of turning it into their own style. Or maybe not even turning it into their own style sometimes, but just like putting their own spin on it. Like, and my favorite cover song of all time, if you don't know, which you probably wouldn't know because I don't even think I've ever said this in a video. I think I've tweeted it like last year sometime. So if you followed me on Twitter for like a year or two, I haven't even had Twitter. Well, I've had a Twitter for 2 years, but my current Twitter account has not been open for 2 years. Anyway, that song is Paranoid by Typo Negative. The Typo Negative cover of Paranoid is so good. Like, I love it to death. Their cover of Hey Joe is also really good, but they call it Hey Pete. Also a very good cover. But, yeah, their cover of Paranoid is top notch. Definitely my favorite cover song of all time. Hurt Can Fight Me. I love Hurt, but Paranoid, so good. Especially because I love the original Paranoid. The original Hurt is just kind of, What's his name's voice? What's his name? Like Trent Reznor? Trent something, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not too crazy about his voice. Sweet Dreams. Let's get back to the song I'm trying to talk about. Okay, like I said, I really like the idea of cover songs. And Sweet Dreams is a good cover. Now, I think it is very hard for a cover to surpass the original. And sometimes they do, like Hurt. Or, see, it's hard for me to say that Paranoid surpassed the original just because the original is such a classic. But just like, if we forget that Black Sabbath's Paranoid is one of the most classic songs ever. And just view it as like a normal song, then yeah, the Typo Negative cover is better, at least in my opinion. Like, it's very, like I said, it's very hard for a cover to surpass the original. Do I think that Marilyn Manson's cover of Sweet Dreams does that? No, I do not. I love the original Sweet Dreams. Honestly, Marilyn Manson's cover of it is good. Like, I'll listen to it. I listened to it while I was listening to this album. I just finished listening to this album, actually. Like to do that so they're fresh in my mind. And, like, I was getting into it, you know, it's really good. Other than that, number 9, I'll Put a Spell on You. That's a good song. 10 is May Cause Discoloration in the Urine or Feces. What's a better moment to talk about this song than now? Or song. It's god-awful. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an attempt at a skit. Because there's no music and it's just all talking. And there's a couple other of those that are just talking, but they're not really skits. This one I'm pretty sure is supposed to be like a skit. It is almost 4 minutes long. And is not entertaining in any way. Like, you would need to be under the influence of some serious drugs to enjoy this. Like, I can't even think of any drug I've ever done that I would enjoy that while listening to it. Like, it's not thought-provoking, it's not funny, it's not anything except boring. And, let's see. Let's look at someone who's known for their skits. Probably know who I'm about to mention. Slim Shady, or Eminem, or Marshall Mathers, whatever the hell you want to call him. You know who I'm talking about. On the Slim Shady LP, the longest skit on it is 1 minute and 16 seconds. The absolute longest. And it is Ken Kniff. And it's actually entertaining. You know, you listen to Ken Kniff, you get a laugh from it. You know, it's not really thought-provoking, but then again, I don't really think any of the Slim Shady LP is really meant to be thought-provoking. But yeah, like Ken Kniff, you listen to it, it's like, haha, you know. You know, there's some dumb humor, because that's what a skit is. And the last song I even have a note for is Dance of the Dope Hats. And I said good song, but it's still too long. Like, a lot. It takes a lot for me to complain about the length of the song. Generally, if a song is long, I will enjoy it because I like long songs that are good. You know, Dogs by Pink Floyd, great song. Any other long song that I really can't think of in it for some reason. Why can I not think of any other, like, songs that would be considered long? I don't know. Unless you're only listening to pop music and consider anything over 3 minutes long, then I guess a lot of songs I listen to would be considered long. Generally, I would say, like, 7 and above is long. And some people say that 7 minutes is long, but I think so. Yeah, it's... I just listened to this album, and I cannot remember most of these songs. Like, it's just kind of forgettable and boring at most points. And Marilyn Manson, as a singer, is not a very great singer. And I didn't write this down because it doesn't really have anything to do with the album. But Marilyn Manson, as a person, annoys me a lot. Actually, I did write this down, kind of. First, I'm going to mention this tiny little nitpick, and then I'm going to actually go into the point that I have written down. I seen him live once. He was with Rob Zombie. He opened for Rob Zombie. And he kept referring to Pittsburgh as the Midwest. I don't live in Pittsburgh. But that's where we were seeing him. You know. And, you know, I'll consider myself a Yinzer for the hell of it. Why not? He kept referring to it as the Midwest. And not many things will offend me. But when someone, like, unironically calls me a Midwesterner, I'm getting offended. Because, no, I am not from the Midwest. Absolutely not. No. Like, I don't know what to say to that other than no. Pittsburgh is not... Actually, Pittsburgh itself kind of is the Midwest. Most Yinzers are just discount Midwesterners. But no. No. And people are like, yeah, Midwest. Like, no, we're not in the Midwest. How retarded are you? Like, seriously, no. Like, I think that's a problem with Yinzers in general, to be honest, is they all act like they're part of the Midwest. Like, again, a lot of Yinzers are just discount Midwesterners. But a lot of them also aren't. The Midwest can just go fuck itself. I hate, like, no, I am not from the Midwest. And anyone who says otherwise can go to hell. Okay, that brings me on to my actual point. Is Marilyn Manson's over-reliance on shock value. Now, shock value to an extent can be like an okay thing. It doesn't really bother me. But when you get to Marilyn Manson levels of it, it's just kind of like, you know, like, what are you doing? Like, it's not even shocking, it's just annoying. Like, when you get to the point where you're, like, tearing up Bibles and all this other stuff, like, don't you think that's a little over the top? And just kind of, just shock value for the sake of it? Like, yeah, other bands that I actually quite enjoy have a little bit of shock value. Like, I don't know if you really even consider Ghost to be shock value, but, or especially now, but they used to, Pop used to dress up like the Pope and all that. Like, I would definitely consider that at least a little bit of shock value. To someone who's like, oh, this guy's dressed up like the Pope and he's singing about Satan. Of course, that's not really a new thing, but, to your average stuffy, like, ultra Christian, yeah, it'll be a little shocking. Or Rammstein. Rammstein is another one I use a good bit of shock value. Again, not to anywhere near Marilyn Manson levels. But I will defend Rammstein because Rammstein actually makes good music. Or at least consistently good. Like, I can listen to a whole Rammstein album and not really be bored. I like Rammstein quite a bit. And I don't know, I can keep going on about this. Like I said, like, it gets to a point with shock value where it's just annoying and it's just for the sake of it, and it's just like, what are you doing? There's no point. And I'm gonna get on to my score of deliciousness. Now, I am being extremely generous with this score. Because I know a lot of people like it, and I can kind of understand that. Like, I think this Smells Like Children may be one of the albums, one of the very few that you kind of had to be there for it. Because I know my mom really loves this album, and she was there for it. A lot of stuff, aged really well. Like Bleach or really any of Nirvana's albums aged really well, and I could still listen to it and still enjoy it. And listen to the whole thing and be like, yeah, this is good. But I think Smells Like Children, at least for me at least, is one of the albums where maybe I maybe I don't really understand it because I wasn't there for it. I wasn't listening to it in 1995. I wouldn't be born for another 7 years. So it'd be kind of hard for me to be listening to it in 1995. But, again, to the score. I gave it a 75%. And like I said, in my opinion, that's extremely generous. Because it only has really a couple good songs. Or at least memorable songs. I wish I knew my mom's favorite song off this album. Offhand. And, like, I don't know, she's coming over later today. Maybe I'll talk to her about it and, like, maybe get a little more into her opinion of this album and see what she likes about it. But for me, it just doesn't really click. Like, it's just, Now, would I call this a bad album? No. I've definitely heard plenty of really bad albums in my time of, like, just exploring music. And I wouldn't call this bad by any means. But it's not really my thing. Like, again, it's not my thing, which is another reason I give it a kind of higher than I personally would, because I know a lot of people like it. And Marilyn Manson in general just isn't really my sort of thing. A lot of people love the crazy shock value. Like, a lot of people love all that stuff, but for me it's just annoying, like I said. And anyway, I'm not going to talk any longer because this video is just going to get even longer, and it doesn't need to. So I'll see you guys next time.